One thing that I really learned through this process of having cancer is the importance to really advocate for yourself, really advocate for your health. If you think something's going wrong, I think you have to really push for it. About a year ago, so last May, I was having some stomach issues, and they did an x-ray, they did an ultrasound, they did blood tests, and they couldn't find anything. And at the time, Jackie thought, oh man, could this be something more serious like cancer? And we saw a couple different doctors, and they just kept minimizing each time. You're like, oh, that's nothing. You're like, oh, it's probably constipation, but that would have showed up in the x-ray, or oh, you probably just passed a gallstone. And so they just they just kept minimizing it. And I think I think at the time that probably was the cancer, but probably at stage 1. So it's a little frustrating that, that it had to come all the way to me thinking that this was appendicitis, and that since it wasn't appendicitis, that they tried all the tests again, and that's when they did the CT scan, and that's when they showed the growth around my pancreas. And so, just like with any field, I think there's good doctors, and I think there's bad doctors, and there's mediocre doctors. There's, they're just humans, and I just think that's like just with any field. Just like I'm a therapist, I'm a coach, and there's good coaches and therapists, and there's bad, and there's mediocre ones, and there's excellent ones. Is to really find that really good fit. The ones that really are going to listen to you, really will fight for you. So another story about really advocating for yourself. So after my first chemo, my second week of chemo, I had to skip because my white blood cells were down. And so they were going to give me this shot that I would have to keep taking the shot like through probably the rest of my chemo days, and this shot would help to promote the growth of white blood cells. Now, fortunately, so there was a week that passed that I didn't have chemo, and they had prescribed this shot, and so Jackie said, well, we're already giving Kirk so many new medications. I don't want, a new, medication in his body. So can we just get can we test to see what his white blood cells are now? I mean, it's been, at least 7 days since his last treatment. Maybe it's gone up. And they said, well, you know what? That's not part of the protocol. And Jackie really advocated for me. He's like, well, I don't care about the protocol. This is my husband. And can we just see? And so, fortunately, our Kaiser doctors said, yeah. I'm not sure I forgot what the UCSF, I think the UCSF doctors were just like, well, that's not part of the protocol. But our doctor, at Kaiser was like, yeah, we'll run the test for you. And so they ran the test, and yeah, they did find that my white blood cells were back up. And so I didn't have to take this shot. And I haven't had to take this shot ever since. So again, that it's like if we didn't say something and we just kind of followed the protocol or followed what they thought, then I would be taking this shot unnecessarily and having just more things in my body that I don't necessarily need. So, and I just hear other horror stories from like one of my friends who is also going through, I think she's also going through cancer. And just this horror story where she wanted to get her uterus removed because that was creating estrogen, and estrogen was causing the growth of her cancer. And so she had already talked with her husband, and they were fine. I think she froze her eggs and was fine about removing her uterus. Yet her doctor kept on saying, no, we should just give you these shots that will help regulate your body and lower the estrogen. And it just didn't make sense to her. And these shots were like super expensive too. I don't know, they're like, hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars. And so that just didn't make sense. And so what really sucks is that her cancer got progressively worse. And so she's in a very, her prognosis it's pretty serious and dire. And she finally had her uterus removed, but this didn't have to happen. I think this could have, her condition could have been controlled a lot earlier. So luckily and fortunately, she's with new doctors that really listen to her. And it just really pisses me off that things like this happen, and that we really have to fight for what we think is right. And that's what I really want to convey is if you feel something is right and a doctor's not listening to you, well, fire that doctor, find a new doctor, find somebody that is in alignment with you, that is in alignment with the way that you see health. Whether you want to, bring in alternative sources and Eastern medicine and finding a doctor that's in alignment with that. Or even if you want to stay in Western medicine, but having somebody just, believe you and run some tests that if you feel like, oh, something's wrong. I mean, we're paying for this. So I think that's just my biggest ask for everyone is to really advocate for yourself. I know that it's really taught me to speak up more and to really put out there, hey, this is what I need. Can you help me get it done? So I hope that doesn't repeat itself with other people. And I hope you have much better luck, and I hope you guys find the doctors that really fit for you.